Fruity, 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 fruity.
Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. Welcome back to another episode of Fruity Fruits, where I taste fruits that are fruity. Today, I'm going to be tasting Pawpaws, and they were very kindly and generously sent to me by Jared. Jared, thank you so much for sending these to me. He sent them to me overnight, and look what he drew on the box. So stinking cute. Acyminia triloba, which is the scientific name of the pawpaw fruit. So Acyminia is the same family as the soursop and the custard apple, which I've tried both of those. If you haven't seen those videos, I'll direct you to the playlist, the Fruity Fruits playlist, and you can check them out there. So I have heard about pawpaws, but I've never been able to eat them because they ripen during a very, very short time of year, usually in September and October, and just for a couple of weeks. So did you know that pawpaws are the largest edible indigenous fruit in the US? I had no idea. And apparently they are indigenous to the eastern US. From Ohio all the way to the coast, you can find them growing indigenously. They are a shrub or a tree. They fruit relatively quickly, and they have the most beautiful tropical smell. When I opened this box from Jared, it just was perfumed with this sweet, mango-y-like, pear-like smell. It smells absolutely delicious. Sweet and floral, a little bit like banana, which many of you know I am not a huge fan of banana, but for me, banana is mostly about texture. It gets kind of mushy and mealy and slimy, and while I like slimy things, I just don't like bananas. Although this is called wild banana, it doesn't look anything like banana, but I think it has to do with this kind of tropical perfume it has. So Jared explained to me that you know when a pawpaw is ready when you just give it a soft little push and it kind of gives like an avocado. And from my understanding, these haven't taken off for a couple of reasons. Number one being they have a very short growing time. Number two, they are very, very perishable. They're best eaten ripened on the tree. They don't ripen that well once you pick them. So therefore, it's a special treat that you can only eat for a certain time of year. And it's also believed that the name pawpaw comes from the Spanish word for papaya, although this doesn't look anything like a papaya, but that's where the name pawpaw is believed to come from. And it has kind of the bean shape to it. And when it first is young and immature, it has this beautiful kind of green color. And then as it ripens, it gets this kind of mottled browner skin. All right, let's cut this open. It doesn't want to slice nicely because there are big seeds in there. And cut it all the way around like this. Let's see what it looks like inside. Wow. This way. I'm going to cut this one on cross section this way to see if I can get a better look on it. There we go. And it smells so tropical. I would have never believed in a million years that this is not some tropical fruit, because that's what it smells like. It's perfumed, almost pineapple-y, melony, and a little bit like mango and banana. It's really perfumed. It smells wonderful. Jared recommended using a spoon. So this central portion contains all of the seeds, and the seeds are very dark and shiny. Apparently they're pretty easy to cultivate. Pawpaws, you have to refrigerate the seeds and keep them damp, and then after about 3 months in your refrigerator, you can go ahead and plant them. You should plant them in a deep pot. This information is based on a YouTube video that I saw from, I believe, the University of Kentucky, and they show how to cultivate pawpaw plants. I'll put the link to that video down below. And then here is the flesh. It's this beautiful yellow color, and it's very, very soft. You could see in this sense why it's related to the custard apple. It has kind of a similar texture. And the seeds are similar in the sense that they're quite dark and then surrounded by the fruit. Color is a little bit different though. The color and the texture also remind me a little bit of durian as well. Soft and rich. Although it doesn't have that really strong musky smell that durian has. Itadakimasu. Oh my word. Boy, is that delicious. Wonderful. Really smooth, soft texture. Almost pudding-like. Different in the sense of, say, something like a soursop, where the fruit seems a little bit more lobed and kind of partitioned. This is just very consistently smooth and soft, very much like a custard or a pudding. And just heavily scented. It's floral almost in terms of its intensity of aroma. Let me clean off a seed. The texture of the membrane and the fruit that surround the seed is very, very similar to a soursop. It's almost like a sack of jelly. I know it sounds terrible, but it tastes delicious. That surrounds the seed. All right, let me get the seed out for you. And there's the seed. Look how beautiful that is. Beautiful dark color. In terms of its perfectness, it reminds me a little bit of longan or dragon's eyes. If you haven't seen that video, it's included in the playlist. The shape of those seeds are a little bit different. Those are spherical, and this is more kind of bean-like. In terms of its beautiful shine and color, that's what that reminds me of. Pawpaws are absolutely delicious. And sweet too. That bite actually tasted more banana-y. I actually much prefer this texture to banana. Banana is just kind of pasty and sticky, while this is smooth and slick and almost like flan. Very smooth consistency too. No membranes, no veins, nothing like that. Even softer than, say, a very ripe mango. So pawpaws are ripe right now. If you live in the eastern US, you've got some woods around you, go on a little hike and see if you can find yourself some pawpaws, because they're delicious. Big thanks again to Jared for sending these to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, subscribe, like this video, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye!
Fruity, 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 fruity.